Hello there, I'm Sean Greasley and welcome to our part 2 version of our part 3 database series. In this tutorial I'm going to have a look at how to add and delete records within our database environment. Now we're going to associate two buttons with this add new method. One of them is going to clear the fields and the other one is going to update the record set, which is here. In order to add a new record, you must go through this data control here. This is because the data control has immediate access to the database, so anything you want to change, append or delete from the database, you have to refer through the data control, as which we named our data control profile. So let's try and add a new record. So we say profile dot record set dot. Now a lot of the commands are within the record set sub-property of profile because we're referring to the record set or the data within the database. So we've got like add new, we've got close, we've got delete, edit, we've got a range of things. So if we say add new, now this will clear all our text boxes so we can add data into the database itself. Now within our update button we want to just refresh the data control, because now we've added data, we only need to refresh it to get the data to show back up again. And so if we launch this and say add new, say Sean, say 87 for example, web admin, and update. Now you can't see it scrolling because we've only got one in here, so if we add another new one and say David H 45 swimming, and say a link as well. Add new, update. So then now we've got two records, as you can see. We can go to the first record, the last record, or go to the previous and the next record. So this is all the data within our table here. We may throw a few errors if we try to update the database while we haven't added a new record. So we'll use the .enabled function here and make good use of that, and we'll tie this in a little bit of modules as we discussed in a couple of tutorials ago. So let's add a procedure. We want to add a sub and we'll call it button switch or button swap, say. Now we'll call this cmd new to add a new record, and cmd update to update the record set. Before each of these have clicked, we're going to activate the button switch property, which in turn switches the enabled buttons around. And of course these aren't going to be command 1 anymore, it's going to be cmd new and cmd update. And just make sure they link, yes and yes. So now let's look into our module how we can code this. So we say if form1.cmd new dot enabled equals false, then we want it for it to be true because we're just reversing this, and we want update to be false. Otherwise reverse this action again. So if we play this program, when we add a new record, button switch, no, we've called it button swap. Let's just edit that a little. Button swap button swap, and we need to set one of these initial values to false, otherwise this procedure will never activate. So if we play this, update is false because we need to add a new record in order to update. So when we add new, see update has been enabled, add new is false. And say Tim Roth, why not? 23 director, say, and a favourite link. Update, and there we go. And our add new is back again and update is disabled. So all this is doing, we're using a module to go through this. So we're swapping the buttons. If new enabled is false, then we want it to true, and the opposite for the other one. Otherwise, just reverse this action. So that's all button swap does. We're just making use of a module and interacting these tutorials together a little. So in order to add a new record, we say record set.add new. This will clear the fields, and when we want to update it, we simply refresh it. That is all. That is how to add a record. Now, deleting a record, very simple indeed. Let's call it delete and call it cmd delete. Copy the start of this and say delete. Then we want to refresh the database afterwards. Save the project, and oh sorry, we need to enable this also. So say we wanted to delete Tim Roth, press delete, and that's all we've got left. So it's very simple how it works. Once you've either added, deleted or done anything to a record, you need to refresh the data control. And that is how to add and delete data within our database linked to Visual Basic. Stay tuned to the third tutorial where we're going to add a little thing on record counting and a few more advanced features within our database. So I'm Sean Greasley, thank you for listening and good night.